Welcome, welcome to the Arizona Live Music Cooperative at Enchiladas. We're missing Glenn Gardner. He's in Australia, so Doug and I are gonna attempt to fill in and support you the best we can in good old-fashioned Glenn Gardner style. Jan is gonna do spoken word. She's gonna read. Let's hear it for Jan.
Woo! Thank you. Thanks, Barb and Doug. And thanks for filling in.
Oh, our pleasure.
Is that me?
No, it's all right. It's me.
Right up here? Oh, okay. I've got, I'm going to start out with some somber songs. These two are Dan Nosky's earlier songs, which I don't have the music for, so I'll read you the lyrics. And let me know if I need to back up or go forward to the mic. This first one's titled, Have You Ever Seen? Have you ever seen yourself in between, way past low and mean, submarine, past the silent heights, the source of light, beyond delight? In a baby's world, life gleams like a giant pearl. Have you ever seen the peace they dream? It's so heavenly, beyond you and me, unbound and free. In a child's play, it's love that guides the way. Can this ever be the same for me? Oh, I hope so, 'cause don't you know, my spirit's low. In an old man's talk, one can hear the ticking of a clock. But my faith has said that before they're dead, the dying shall see that which we search for hungrily. Oh yes, the dying shall see that which we search for passionately. Thank you. This next one's titled On the Inner Road. How the mountains pierce the blue, topped with snow, touched with dew. It's here my heart will take its flight, here that truth will shed its light. The sea is a place I have to be, the clouds sailing high and free. It's here that I am at my best, here that I find peace and rest. A quiet stream, so happy, so clear, laughs around my feet, bringing nature near. It's here that life feels so strong, here that life cannot go wrong. On the mountaintop, man has reached for space, in the desert carved his place. But it's on the inner road man will find his true quest. On the inner road, true peace and rest. Thank you.
Wow, very nice.
Beautiful beginning, the inner road.
The inner road.
I'm looking for that true rest. Thank you, Jan. Okay, let's give it up for Jammin Jerry.
Tonight is a tribute to our people who are in Kangaroo Land. And I guess we've got quite a few over there. Does everybody remember their names? George, Georgette. Long as they remember their names. Here we go. Anybody that knows this song, you best sing along with us. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down. Keep your cockatoo cool, Kurt. Keep your cockatoo cool. Don't go acting a fool, Kurt. Just keep your cockatoo cool. Take me koala back, Jack. Take me koala back. He lives somewhere out on the track, Mac. Take me koala back. Let me mongoose go loose, Lou. Let me mongoose go loose. They're of no further use, Lou. Let me mongoose go loose. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down. Mind me platypus duck, Bill. Mind me platypus duck. Don't let him go run amok, Bill. Mind me platypus duck. Play me didgeridoo, blue. Play your didgeridoo. Keep playing till I shoot through, blue. Play your didgeridoo. Tan me hide when I'm dead, Fred. Tan me hide when I'm dead. Tan me hide when I'm dead, Fred. Tan me hide when I'm dead. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down. So he tanned his hide when he died, Clyde. That's it hanging on the shed. Woo! Tie me kangaroo, tie me kangaroo, tie me kangaroo down. Tie me kangaroo, tie me kangaroo, tie me kangaroo down. Tie me kangaroo down. I hope they come back with their hides still intact. You didn't know you're going to serve double duty tonight, did you?
Okay.
Well, if you want to stay, sure, you betcha.
I can mess this one up too, no problem.
This old Sonny James tune, do it a little bit different, but it's still Sonny James. Bright light is a big city, gone to my baby's head. Bright light, big city, gone to my baby's head. Tried to tell my woman, but she don't believe a word I said. It's all right, pretty baby, gonna need my help someday. It's all right, pretty baby, gonna need my help someday. Gonna wish you'd listen to some of those things I said. Go ahead, pretty woman, honey, knock yourself out. Go ahead, pretty woman, honey, knock yourself out. Still love you, baby, 'cause you don't know what it's all about. Bright light, big city, went to my baby's head. Bright light, big city, gone to my baby's head. Hope would you remember some of those things I said. Hope would you remember some of those things I said. Bright lights.
That's Jammin' Jerry.
Thank you all, thank you all.
All right, let's give it up for Rick Smith.
Thank you, thank you. This first song is kind of a humorous song. It was written by a man named John Gorka. And when he introduces the song, he says that he set out to write a song about growing old gracefully. but it didn't turn out that way. So this is his song called People My Age. All right. People my age are, I'm sorry. People my age have started looking gross. I cannot say all, and I shouldn't say most. I've seen him in the grocery, I've seen him up close. People my age have started looking gross. People my age are showing some wear. There's holes where their teeth was, and their heads have gone bare. The brains are shrinking, faces sinking into fat. And as for the mirror, we won't be looking into that. Oh, people my age have started looking gross. Maybe not in Colorado or up the Silicon Coast. Back in Pennsylvania, I used to grapple on toast. Those were my first steps on the road to looking gross. People my age are looking overripe. And never getting operations to tighten up what ain't tight. Gravity's ruined, they try to fix with a knife. It's pleasant in the darkness, it's plain scary in the night. Thank you, thank you. Okay, here we go. This next song, some of you may remember a band called the Trogs. Wild thing, you know. And this song here is the only other song I know that by them from 1967, high school. That's called Love Is All Around. Aha. Oops, that's not it. Sorry. Need to get a pick. There it is. This song by the Trogs called Love Is All Around. Love is in my fingers, I feel it in my toes. Love is all around me, and so the feeling grows. It's written on the wind, it's everywhere I go. So if you really love me, come on and let it show. Oops. You know I love you, I always will. My mind's made up by the way that I feel. There's no beginning, there be no end. 'Cause on my love you can depend. You put your face before me as I lay on my bed. I kinda get to thinking of all the things you said. You gave your promise to me, and I gave mine to you. I need someone beside me in everything I do. You know I love you, I always will. My mind's made up by the way that I feel. There's no beginning, there'll be no end, 'cause on my love you can depend. Sitting on the wind, it's everywhere I go. So if you really love me, come on and let it show. And let it show. Come on and let it show. Ooh, I got a string out there somewhere. Sorry. Thank you very much,
Rick
everybody.
Rick Smith. So let's give it up for Peter Palazzo. Woo!
Don't put any pressure on me. Tell me it's special.
Okay. Clear? All right.
The night falls and I'm alone. Skin that chills me to the bone. You turn and you ran. Oh, slip right from my hand. Hey, blue on black, tears on a river, push on a shove, it don't mean much. Joker on jack, match on a fire, cold on ice, it's a dead man's touch. Whisper on a scream, doesn't change a thing, don't bring you back. Blue on black. Blind, now I see. Oh, truth lies in between. Wrong can be undone. Oh, slip from the tip of your tongue. Hey, blue on black, tears on a river, push on a shove, it don't mean much. Joker on jack, match on a fire, cold on ice, it's a dead man's touch. Whisper on a scream, doesn't change a thing, don't bring you back. Oh, don't bring you back. Blue on black. Thank you. once you're gone, you can never come back. When you're out of the blue and into the black. The king is gone, but he's not forgotten. This is the story of Johnny Rotten. It's better to burn out than it is to rust. The king is gone, but he's not forgotten. Love that bass note. My, hey, hey, rock and roll is here to stay. It's better to burn out than to fade away. My, hey, hey. The six string's working pretty good.
That's Peter Palazzo. Looks like rock and roll is here to stay. Peter has spoken. And everybody give it up for Bob Streit. Woohoo!
Might be slightly hot there. You all right? My name's Bob. I wrote these songs for you. Actually, I wrote this first song about an old buddy in my old neighborhood growing up, and the day that some explosives went off. And I wrote this song some years ago, and I had fallen out of touch with him, but somehow I'd stayed in touch with his younger brother. And I had an opportunity to play on the radio in Southern Illinois, and I let the younger brother know I was going to play, and that I might play a song I wrote for the older brother. And the younger brother tuned in and held a phone up to his computer, because he was getting an internet feed all the way in Michigan from Southern Illinois. And he called his brother, who was up a ladder painting a house. And his brother fished his phone out of his pocket, and I sang to him from a radio station to a Sputnik to a couple of phones to the Chicago suburbs. So now I will attempt to sing this song for you. It's called This One's For You. Bottle rocket in a beer bottle, aim straight at me. Big lighter with a 2-inch flame, about all I can see. He launched one into Lampeter's garage, by gave an old man a heart attack. I took one in the belly and another in the back. songs are forever. And this one's for you. He rigged a rocket launcher into the grill of his car. Turn on the heat to light the fuse, and it was war. On the streets of our old suburban neighborhood, yeah, he could do wild things that I never could, but oddly enough, he was my good friend. Ain't seen him in so long, may never see him again. Time moves on, men do too, but songs are forever, and this one's for you. I went to college, he went to work, and it's in drifting apart that hard feelings lurk. We were together all our summers long. I gather he's still painting houses while I'm here singing his song. And the truth be told, he was a godsend. When I was a little boy, he was my brother, protector, and friend. Time moves on, we have to, but songs are forever. And this one, Dean, this one's for you. Did you think I'd forgotten? How could I forget you? He did shoot me with a bottle rocket. He did shoot one across the yard into Mr. Lempinen's garage as the garage door was coming down. And the garage door was coming down, and Mr. Lempinen was an elderly man. He was wearing shorts and some like penny loafers on a slippery garage floor. And so the door's coming down. I see these two stick legs, and then the rocket bounced off the driveway and in and blew up, and the legs went up out of view and back down. That's a mostly true story. I spent some time in Los Angeles. This one's called The Actor in You. The actor has been asked to use his anger in the service of a story about a tall, dark stranger about justice, something about making peace, pitting brother against brother. Another dark comedy, his anger in its glory ended a life, offended his children, cost him the love of his wife. Can something so destructive be harnessed and rid of strife? Can anger, like cool water, become the source of new life? Oh, no. Here we go again, down into the valley of heedless women and men. I can make a buck, we can make a movie, it might touch the world. Wouldn't that be groovy? There's a swami up that mountain, sitting naked in his cave, contemplating right action for my soul to save. Are we what we say? Do we become what we do? Does intention mitigate? I'm asking the actor in you. I'm asking the actor in you. I'm asking the anger in you. All we gotta be is groovy. Thank you. Be groovy, everybody. Everybody.
Wow.
Thank you, Cowboy. Thank
That
you.
was very nice. Very
So
cool.
introspective. Bob
Feel free to
Streit.
unplug anytime.
Oh my goodness, look who's here in the house. Can you believe it? Let's give it up for the Duke of Uke.
Good evening, everybody. You know, things you notice. I noticed how many people are wearing blue jeans today. Almost everybody. Anybody who's not wearing blue jeans, well, you're left out. There you go. I'm feeling particularly juggy today. Juggy. That means I'm going to play a few juggy tunes. Hope you don't mind. Each evening as the sun went down, and the jungle fires are burning down the track, came a hobo hiking, and he said, boys, I'm not turning, I'm heading for a land. It's fair and bright beyond the crystal mountain. So come with me and you will be in a big rock candy mountain. Here we go. In a big rock candy mountain. You never change your socks. Little streams of alcohol go trickling down the rocks. The brakemen all must tip their hats, and the railroad bulls are blind. You love to go where there ain't no snow, where the rain don't fall and the wind don't blow. Oh, the buzzing of the bees in the cigarette trees, the soda water fountain, the lemonade springs where the blackbird sings in the big rock candy mountain. There in the big rock candy mountain, the cops have wooden legs, the bulldogs all have rubber teeth, and the hens lay soft-boiled eggs. The farmers' trees are full of fruit. The barns are full of hay. There's a lake of stew and of whiskey too. You paddle all around them in a big canoe. Trees, the soda water fountain, the lemonade springs where the blackbird sings in the big rock candy mountain. All right, I think I'll do another one. Now in the big rock candy mountain, the little top pop pop da 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 da. Ooh ooh ooh. Pop pop dee dee pop dee da 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 da. Boop doo. Pop soda water fountain, the lemonade springs where the blackbird sings, and the big rock candy mountain. Thank you. Oh, this is the best audience in all of Arizona. All right. Oh, baby, I've been drinking, and I know I shouldn't come by no more, but I found myself in trouble, darling, and I got no place else to go. Got some whiskey from a barmaid. Got some cocaine from my friend. Gonna keep on giving on till I'm back in your arms again. 'Cause I'm guilty. Yes, I'm guilty. And I'll be guilty for the rest of my life. How come I never do exactly what I'm supposed to do? How come everything I try never turns out right? You know how it is with me, baby. You know I just can't stand myself. Takes a whole lot of medicine, darling, for me to pretend that I'm somebody
Wow, that is
Thank you, everybody.
a beautiful performance by the Duke of Uke.
The Duke of Uke.
The Duke of Uke. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm Arizona Live Music Cooperative welcome to Tom, that old guy.me.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to play some blues. It's called a slow, ambient, sad blues. I need participation. So as I hit those notes, if you get the back of the next one, let me know. I'm ready to and if you relate, stand up. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Oh my goodness. You know, if you take private improvisation lessons, they have you, they'll put on some good music like that and have you jam along to it. But it's only the really good ones who can do that. That was excellent.
Thank you.
Yes, very nice, very nice.
Thank you, Tom.
I feel so mellow now. I don't know why.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Colorado Joe.
Woohoo! Thank you. Yeah. Thanks to Enchiladas and thanks to our host tonight and Cowboy as usual. And thanks very much. This first one is a George Strait song called Amarillo by Morning. Amarillo by morning, up from San Antonio. Everything that I've got is just what I've got on. When that sun is high in that Texas sky, I'll be bucking at the county fair. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo, I'll be there. They took my saddle in Houston, broke my leg in Santa Fe. Lost my wife and a girlfriend somewhere along the way. But I'll be looking for 8 when they pull that gate. I hope that judge ain't blind. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo's on my mind. Amarillo by morning, up from San Antonio. Everything that I've got is just what I've got on. I ain't got a dime, but what I got is mine. I ain't rich, but Lord, I'm free. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo's where I'll be. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo's where I'll be. The Lost Pick. Okay, this second song is a White Stripe song called We're Gonna Be Friends. A lot of you probably haven't heard it. It's an unusual White Stripe song. Fall is here, hear the yelling, back to school, ring the bell, brand new shoes, walking blues, climb the fence, books and pens, I can tell that this seems out of tune. Yeah. Sorry.
No, this is a break in the middle of the song. It's supposed to be here. This is not over.
Sorry about
Everybody
that.
is
It just
about to
didn't
rush
sound
the
okay.
stage. Right here, this is where you rush the stage, right?
No.
Just throw your hands in the air, rush the stage. Woo! Yeah.
Rookie mistake. I was playing in the wrong key.
Now, girls,
Sorry
settle
about
down,
that.
settle down, settle down. Okay, all right, go ahead.
Oh, that's dreadful. Fall is here, hear the yell, back to school, ring the bell, brand new shoes, walking blues, climb the fence, books and pens. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. Yes, I can tell that we are gonna be friends. Walk with me, Susie Lee, through the park, by the tree. We can rest upon the ground. Look at all the bugs we found, then safely walk to school without a sound. Safely walk to school without a sound. Here we are, no one else. Walk to school by ourselves, dirt on our uniforms, chasing ants and worms. We clean up and now it's time to learn. We clean up and now it's time to learn. Numbers, letters, learn to spell, nouns and books and show and tell. Playtime, we will throw the ball back to class through the hall. Teacher marks our height against the wall. I'm taller now, my height's against the wall. We don't notice any time pass. We don't notice anything at all. We sit side by side in every class. Teacher thinks that I sound funny, but she likes the way you sing. Tonight I'll dream in my bed, silly thoughts through my head about the bugs and alphabet. When I wake tomorrow I'll bet you and I will walk together again. 'Cause I can tell that we are gonna be friends. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. Thank you. Thanks very much.
What a friendly performance. That was excellent. Thank you. And you know, I love
may
when we
unplug at
rush
any
the
time.
stage. Colorado Joe. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Eric Schultz.
Wow, what an intro. I don't get that at home, I'll tell you that. Yeah, well, I do. I'm going to do a song. I'm from Minnesota. What country is closest to Minnesota? Canada. All right, go up and get your free drink. Just tell them that you got one. Yeah, and see what they say. No. No, not really. But I think you should try it, see what they say.
I was going to say Australia.
Yeah, g'day,
Yeah.
Bruce.
Yeah, all right. Can you turn the guitar up a little bit? Thank you. I wanted to drown out my voice, so. I forgot how it went. satin dress, a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. She's been looking like a queen, a sailor's dream. She don't always see what she really means. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. I can picture every move a man could make. Getting lost in your loving was your first mistake. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning, when I'm losing again. I can see her looking fast, her faded jeans. She's a hard-loving woman, got me feeling mean. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning, when I'm losing again. Thank you. When I first started, I was playing many years ago, but then I quit for a long time and then raised a family and stuff, and then started playing again. And this was the first song that I kind of learned. And it's kind of a bluegrass song. It's called Wreck of the Old 97. Well, they gave him his orders at Monroe, Virginia, saying, Steve, you're way behind time. This is not 38, but it's so 97. You must put her in dispenser on time. Then he looked around and said to his tired, greasy fireman, just shovel in a little more coal. And when we cross that White Oak Mountain, you can hear 97 roll. It's a mighty rough road from Lynchburg to Danville, a line on a 3-mile grade. It was on this grade where he lost his leverage. See what a jump he made. Whistle broke into a scream. He's found in the wreck with his hand on the throttle, scalded to death by the steam. Now all you ladies, won't you please take a warning from this time now and learn. Never speak harsh words to your true loving husband. He may leave you and never return. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. I'm keeping all of that in. Okay, it's Martin Luther King Day. Anybody remember? Martin Luther King Day. Big day. Lots of freedom going on. And lest we forget that Martin Luther King was a Baptist preacher. There's a little bit of that in this song, too. This is for Martin Luther King. Wherever you are, my brother. She wears a battered crown, weathered copper is her gown. She drives the darkness down with the lamp she's holding high. Sometimes you'll see her in a gown of white, holding her standard high, guiding her children to the light, raising the cry, cry freedom loud and clear, cry freedom so they'll hear. Cry freedom everywhere. Cry freedom, cry. In every age, in every land, she lives in the heart of man. Even a little child can understand when they hear the cry. Those who have known her well, Travis, and all the rest of you, veterans out there, Joe, those who have known her well have a powerful tale to tell, who have fought to heaven and through hell, heeding the cry. I cry freedom loud and clear. Cry freedom so they'll hear. Cry freedom everywhere. Cry freedom, cry. She's holding out her hand on the battlefield of man, hoping we'll come to understand we are worth the fight. We are worth the fight. He came to set the captives free through the shed blood of his victory. Those whom the sun sets free, why, they are free indeed. Oh, cry freedom loud and clear. Cry freedom so they'll hear. Cry freedom freedom everywhere. Cry, freedom, cry, cry, freedom, cry. Thanks, you guys. I take that stuff serious. This is the greatest nation in the world. It's a shining light on the hill. So these two guys were here, Brian and Mike, and they were sitting over there, and we got to talking, and they said, "Are you going to play?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm number 10." And they, you know, the fact that I would sometimes yodel came up, and he said, "Well, will you yodel?" And I said, "Sure." Oh, he said, "Great, I can't wait to hear it." And then they left. But I'm going to yodel anyway. While I was out riding, graveyard shift midnight till dawn. The moon was as bright as a reading light, or a letter from an old friend back home. He asked me, "Why do you ride for your money? Why do you rope for short pay? You ain't getting nowhere and you're losing your share. Why, you must have gone crazy out there." He said last night he ran on to Ginny. Well, she's married and has a good life. Boy, you sure missed the track when you never come back. She's a perfect professional's wife. But she asked me, why does he ride for his money? And why does he rope for short pay? He ain't getting nowhere and he's losing his share. Why, he must have gone crazy out there. Oh, but they've never seen the northern lights, followed a hawk on the wing, or seen the spring break out on the great divide. No, and they've never heard old Camp Cookie sing. Well, I read up the last of my letter. I tore off the stamp for Black Jim. When Billy rode up to relieve me, he just looked at that letter and grinned. And he said, well, why do they work for their money? And why do they toil for short pay? They ain't getting nowhere and they're losing their share. Why, they all must be crazy out there, because they've never slept. They've never slept under the northern lights, followed a hawk on the wing, or seen spring break out on the great divide. Knowing they've never heard old Camp Cookie sing like this. you guys.
Everybody wants to be you. Oh my
You may
goodness.
unplug.
And now,
That's right.
please give it up for Debbie.
Hey.
Thank you. So last week, whether you were or were not here, I did an original piece that was hot off the press, I said, and a little verse from the book of John in the New Testament. And I'm going a different direction this time, but it's still about pondering places. I have two cute little books, in my opinion, in my hand, and they were given to me over the holidays from my former sister-in-law. I now own 19 of these puppies. Maybe you own some too, but I believe there were 101 published between the years of 1920 and 1924-ish, although some accounts say 1926. And today I'm going to read from two of them. One is called Barrack Room Ballads, and this is because this last week, my son on the 9th of January turned 25, and on the 10th of January, I turned a different age that's not 25. No guessing. You will win nothing if you guess.
You mean
But-
you had a birthday?
Yes, I
Oh,
did too.
Are you ready? I'm not sure, Doug, if I can lead this. Maybe you should lead this.
I feel like the singing happened last week, and I loved it.
We would do that for you again.
I
Who
would.
else is
I'll
having a
keep it in
birthday?
my memory.
Any other birthdays? Any other birthdays? Any birthdays
Phew.
this week? You guys had yours last week, so this is just
I had
for
it.
you.
I had it last week too.
We want to bless you with it again. Ready?
Yay!
3, 2,
Happy
1.
birthday to... No, you're in time. You're not supposed to be in time. Happy
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Debbie, wasn't that special?
Definitely, it was. It was definitely special.
That was just for you, Debbie.
Thank you so much. It works out perfectly with the rest of my personality. So thank you very much. So I'm going to read. So I found at a resale store an old plaque that I think came from the 70s of Rudyard Kipling's If. And I had not read that poem in a very long time. And when I read it, I thought, this is exactly what I want to give my son as one of his gifts. And even if he reads it for a moment and trashes it, it'll be worth it. But he read it on the 10th, and he really appreciated it. And then lo and behold, I hadn't checked out my little books yet, but one of them is Kipling. So I'm going to read a few snippets from Kipling, and then I'm going to close with a very short one by him. In between that, I'm going to read from the speeches and letters of George Washington. And so here we go. And I'm not going, these are all Rudyard Kipling. I'm not going to read each title. I'm just literally going to flip and show you his variety if you're unacquainted or it's been too long. So if I come upon the title, I'll read it to you. But Danny Deaver, the end. Ho, the young recruits are shaken and they'll want their beer today after hanging Danny Deaver in the morning. From Tommy. You talk of better food for us and schools and fires and all. We'll wait for extra rations if you treat us rational. Don't mess about the cookroom slops, but prove it to our face. The widow's uniform is not the soldier man's disgrace. For it's Tommy this and Tommy that, it's chuck him out, the brute. But it's savior of his country when the guns begin to shoot, and it's Tommy this and Tommy that, and anything you please. And Tommy ain't a bloomin' fool, you bet that Tommy sees. From Fuzzy Wuzzy. And here's to you, Fuzzy Wuzzy, with your Eric Ed of air, your big black bounding beggar, for you brook a British square. I think I'll pause that one there. Speeches and letters from George Washington, and I stopped right at the beginning and made my choice here. So I will read 25 of these rules of conduct that George Washington wrote when he was a young boy, and I didn't research how young, but it states from a manuscript book kept by Washington when a boy. Just, if you like, listen and see if you agree, because I still agree with these 25, and maybe next week I'll bring the rest of them. 1, every action in company ought to be with some sign of respect to those present. 2, in the presence of others, sing not to yourself with a humming voice, nor drum with your fingers or feet. 3, sleep not when others speak, sit not when others stand, speak not what you should hold your peace, walk not when others stop. 4, turn not your back to others, especially in speaking. Jog not the table or desk on which another reads or writes. Lean not on any one. 5, be no flatterer, neither play with any one that delights not to be played with. 6, read no letters, books, or papers in company, but when there is a necessity for doing it, you must ask leave. Come not near the books or writings of anyone so as to read them unless desired, nor give your opinion of them unasked. Also, look not nigh when someone is writing a letter. 7, let your countenance be pleasant, but if the serious matters, somewhat grave. 8, show not yourself glad at the misfortune of another, though he were your enemy. 9, when you meet with one of greater quality than yourself, stop and retire, especially if it be at a door or any straight place, to give way for him to pass. 10, they that are in dignity or in office have in all places precedency, but whilst they are young, they ought to respect those that are their equals in birth or other qualities, though they have no public charge. 11, it is good manners to prefer them to whom we speak before ourselves, especially if they be above us, with whom in no sort we ought to begin. 12, let your discourse with men of business be short and comprehensive. 13, in visiting the sick, do not presently play the physician if you are not knowing therein. 14, in writing or speaking, give to every person his due title, according to his degree and the custom of the place. 15, strive not with your superiors in argument, but always submit your judgment to others with modesty. 16, undertake not to teach your equal in the art he himself professes. It savors of arrogancy. 17, when a man does all he can, though it succeeds not well, blame not him that did it. 18, being to advise or reprehend anyone, consider whether it ought to be in public or in private, presently or at some other time, and in what terms to do it. And in reproving, show no signs of choler, but do it with sweetness and mildness. 19, take all admonitions thankfully, in what time or place soever given, but afterwards, not being culpable, take a time and place convenient to let him know it that gave them. 20, mock not, nor jest at anything of importance. Break no jests that are sharp biting. And if you deliver anything witty and pleasant, abstain from laughing thereat yourself. 21, wherein you reprove another, be unblameable yourself. For example is more prevalent than precepts. "22. Use no reproachful language against anyone, neither curse nor revile. 23. Be not hasty to believe flying reproof to the disparagement of any. 24. In your apparel be modest, and endeavor to accommodate nature rather than to procure admiration. Keep to the fashion of your equals, such as are civil and orderly with respect to times and places. 25. Play not the peacock, looking everywhere about you to see if you be well decked, neatly, if your shoes fit well, if your stockings neatly, and your clothes handsomely. And 26, because you always do the pinch to grow an inch. Associate yourself with men of good quality, if you esteem your own reputation, for it is better to be alone than in bad company. I wish I had read these when I was about 9, which was probably when Washington wrote them. And now I will close with Kipling. Thank you. For those of you who don't like spoken word, this is nice and short. It's called the Recessional. God of our fathers, known of old, Lord of our far-flung battle line, beneath whose awful hand we hold dominion over palm and pine, Lord God of hosts, be with us yet, lest we forget, lest we forget. The tumult and the shouting dies, the captains and the kings depart. Still stands thine ancient sacrifice, an humble and a contrite heart. Lord God of hosts, be with us yet, lest we forget, lest we forget. Far called our navies melt away, on dune and headland sinks the fire. Lo, all our pomp of yesterday is one with Nineveh entire. Judge of the nations, spare us yet, lest we forget, lest we forget. If drunk with sight of power, we loose wild tongues that have not thee in awe, such boasting as the Gentiles use, or lesser breeds without the law, Lord God of hosts, be with us yet, lest we forget, lest we forget. For heathen heart that puts her trust in reeking tube and iron shard, all valiant dust that builds on dust, and guarding calls not thee to guard, for frantic boast and foolish word, thy mercy on thy people, Lord. Amen. Thank you.
Associate yourself with good company. What a great quote from George Washington. Another hand for Debbie.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to me. This is a song by Bob Dylan.
I can't wait to hear it. Everybody, let's welcome Christian.
Thank you. Mama, take this badge from me. I can't use it anymore. Sorry. I'm gonna start over again because I'm too nervous. It's my first time like playing live.
Okay, a big hand for
All right.
Christian.
Sorry. Right. Thank you. Mama, take this badge from me. I can't use it anymore. It's It's getting too dark to see. Feels like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's doors. Hey, 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 hey. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's doors. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's doors. Hey, 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 hey. Mama put my guns on the ground. I can't shoot them anymore. The black cold cloud is coming down. Feels like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's doors. 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 Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Also, that one on my tables. A special, yeah, Wed too, Rex, David's friends who give me some chimichangas. This song is a cover by James Marshall. You going with that gun in your hand? I say, hey Joe, what you going with that gun in your hand? I'm gonna shoot my old lady. You know I can't mess around with another man. Gonna shoot my old lady. You know I can't mess around with another man. Hey Joe, had you shot your lady down? Had you shot your lady down to the ground? Yes, I did, I shot her. You know I can't mess around messing downtown. That ain't cool, you know. Yes, I did, I shot her. I can't mess around, messing around town. And I gave it a gun and I shot it. Joe, where you gonna go? What you gonna roll now? Hey Joe, you better run, you better run. I'm going way down south. You know I can be free. Ain't no hangman ain't going to pour it around my neck. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Christian Guzman, I hope you come back every time. Next up, please welcome Ryan Rohn.
Thank you, everybody. Is that not too strong on the guitar? Does that sound okay? Okay. I know Cowboy did it on purpose because it was just a dramatic pause. Okay, so this is an original called She Dips Her Finger Through the Candle Flame. watched this movie, I think it was Easy Rider, and there's this song at the end of it. And I never heard anything like it before, but I said, someday, even if it takes 20 years, I'm going to learn this song. It's a Bob Dylan cover. Darkness at the break of noon, shadows, even the silver spoon, the handmade blade, the child's balloon, eclipses both the sun and moon. To understand, you know too soon, there is no sense in trying. Pointed threats they bluff with scorn, suicide remarks are torn. When the fool's gold mouthpiece, the hollow horn, plays wasted words, proves to warn that he not busy being born is busy dying. Flies out the door, you follow, find yourself at war. Watch waterfalls of pity roar. You feel the moan, but unlock before you discover that you just be one more person crying. So don't fear if you hear a foreign sound to your ear. It's alright. I'm only sighing. Some warn victory, some downfall. Private reasons, great or small, can be seen in the eyes of those that call to make all that should be killed to crawl. While others say don't hate nothing at all except hatred. Disillusioned words like bullets bark as human gods aim for their mark. Make everything for toy guns that spark. The flesh-colored Christ is a glow in the dark. It's easy to see without looking too far. Not much is really sacred. While preachers preach of evil fates, teachers teach that knowledge waits, can lead $1,000 plates, and goodness hides behind its gates. But even the President of the United States sometimes must have to stand naked. The rules of the road have been lodged. It's only people's schemes you got to dodge. It's all right. I can make it. Advertising signs a con, you into thinking you're the one that can do what's never been done, that can win what's never been won. Meantime, life outside goes on all around you. You reappear. Lose yourself, you reappear. Suddenly decide there's no one. Question in your nerves is lit. You know there is no answer fit to satisfy and assure you not to quit. To keep it in your mind and not forget that it is not he or she or them or it that you belong to. Wise ones and the fools, I've got nothing to live up to. bow down to authority that they do not respect in any degree, despise their jobs, their destiny, speak jealously of those that are free, do what they do just to be nothing more than something they invest in. Some on principles baptized to strict party platform ties, social clubs and drag disguise, side as they can freely criticize, tell nothing except for you to idolize and say, God bless them. While one who sings with his tongue on fire, gargles in the rat race choir, bent out of shape from society's pyres, cares not to come up any higher, but rather get you down in the hole that he's in. On anyone living in a vault, it's all right, Mom, if I can't please him. Old lady judges watch people in pairs, limited in sex they dare to push fake morals, insult and stare, while money doesn't talk, it swears. I've sent it to you, who really cares? Propaganda, all is phony. While they defend what they cannot see with a killer's pride and security, it blows their minds most bitterly for them to think death's honesty won't fall upon them naturally. Life sometimes must get lonely. My eyes collide head-on with stuffed graveyards, false goals I scuff, and pettiness which plays so rough. Walk upside down inside handcuffs, kick my legs to crash it off, say alright, I've had enough, what else can show me? My thought dreams could be seen, they'd probably put my head in a guillotine. It's all right, Mom, it's life and life only. Thank you.
Ryan Rohn.
Thanks a lot.
Wow, up and down the fretboard and up and down our brains.
You may unplug.
Wow, what a Bob Dylan rendition. That right there was worth the drive, wasn't it? Thank you, Ryan.
One, two,
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome for the Beyond Help Band.
Yeah, thank you very much. No originals tonight, but we are going back to the late 30s and the late 60s here. Over here, talking to each other, we have John Gibbons and Kay Brayton, and I'm Chainsaw Dave Byrne.
I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande, but my legs ain't bowed and my cheeks ain't tan. I'm a cowgirl who never saw a cow, never roped a steer, 'cause I don't know how, and I sure ain't fixin' to start now. Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay, yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande, and I learned to ride, for I learned to stand. I'm a riding bull
Okay, Brayton.
Pat and Mike jokes are the ethnic jokes of Ireland, and I've heard this whole story for decades. Pat and Mike were pub mates. They've known each other for decades, and one night they were walking home from the pub. Patrick was feeling his mortality, he was feeling that his days were numbered, and he said they're walking past the graveyard next to the church, and Patrick says, "Now, Michael, me days on this earth are numbered now, but when I'm dead and gone, would you be so kind as to sprinkle a bottle of Jameson's Irish whiskey across my grave when I'm buried there?" Michael says, "Sure, Patrick, I can do that." So further up the road, they're walking. Michael says, "Now, Patrick, about this bottle of Jameson's you be wanting sprinkled over your grave, would you mind so much if I filter it through me kidneys first?"
Here's a shorter version of that joke. Two Irishmen walk out of a pub. That's it. That's the joke. Okay.
Don't give him applause. Jeez.
you marry me anyway? Would you have my baby?
If you were a carpenter and I were a lady, I'd marry you anyway, and I'd have your baby.
Tinker were my trade, I'd still find you.
I'd be carrying the pots you made, following behind you. Save my love from loneliness, save my love through sorrow.
I'd give you my loneliness.
Give me your tomorrow.
If I were a miller, mill wheel grinding, would you miss your colored blouse and your soft shoes shining?
If you were a miller and mill were grinding, I'd not miss my colored blouse and my soft shoe shining. Save my love through loneliness, save my love through sorrow.
I'll give you my loneliness.
Give me your tomorrow.
If I worked my hands in wood, would you still love me?
yes I would. Nothing but us above me.
Well, if I were a carpenter and you were a lady,
I'd marry you anyway. I would have your baby. Save my love through loneliness. Save my love through sorrow.
I'll give you my loneliness.
Give me your tomorrow.
I'll give you my loneliness.
Give me your tomorrow.
Oh, what a beautiful song.
Thank you so much.
And what sensitive soprano stylings. That was gorgeous. Love that. Thank you, Beyond Help Band. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Alisa Phoenix.
Hello, hello. It's been a while. I hadn't been to Enchiladas yet, so this is quite a space. Whew. All right, so I'm going to start off today with the song, one of the songs that Leslie Gore made famous, and that is It's My Party. And as I always do, I dedicate this to my teenage daughter. She is 16 now. Yeah, this is just, 16. Time. But leave me alone for a while till Johnny's dancing with me. I've got no reason to smile. It's my party and I'll cry if I want to, cry if I want to, cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. Judy and Johnny just walked through that door like a king with a queen. Oh, what a birthday surprise. Judy's wearing his ring. It's my party and I'll cry if I want to, cry if I want to, cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to. It's my party, I'll cry if I want to, cry if I want to, listening to Debbie, and she was reading from George Washington's little book, I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and sing America the Beautiful. It's been a while since I've sung that here. And the other thing is that I think it's really important for us to remember our roots. As I listened to all those things, and I thought about how often the virtues that were espoused by George Washington are not on television or social media. They seem to be vacant from much of our culture today. And I think it's good for us to reach back to our roots and remember those values.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrims' feet whose stern impassioned stress a thoroughfare of freedom beat across the wilderness. America, America, God mend thine every flaw. Confirm thy soul with self-control, thy liberty in law. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. Oh, beautiful for oh, beautiful for patriots' dream and oh, it's the years thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you. And thank you for whoever was giving me lyrics when I
Oh my
forgot them
goodness,
for a
you
moment.
led us in a moment, didn't you? Thank you, Alisa Phoenix. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Travis. Woo-hoo.
Hey, it's good to be back.
And now please welcome Travis's guitar.
Travis's guitar got left in the car, but was it the back seat or the front?
How's that? Can you hear me now? Yeah,
Can
just
hear
think of
you,
me, that
Travis.
Verizon guy that every time he says that, you just want to smack him right in the gob, huh?
Dazzle us, Travis.
All right.
Dazzle
I
us.
don't know about, well, is that the one you do with BS or is that the baffle part? Because I can go either way with that. Well, I took a run at this one a couple weeks ago, wrote about my wife and my journey through life, and I'm going to take another run at it tonight. Here we go. We got married up in Vegas. Some thought way too soon. A Kmart dress and my humble best, $100 honeymoon. Broke to pay attention. We both knew the stakes. Bet it all, win, lose, or draw. That's the kind of love it takes. That's the kind of love it takes. All others to forsake. Through the good time, the hard time, the maxed out, the card time, kind of love it takes. Had a lot more time than money. Had more hot dogs than steaks. Had to laugh 'cause it was funny. That's the kind of love it takes. Old wore out Chevy pickup. Carry all our dreams. Goes to show you never know. Life ain't always what it seems. That's the kind of love it takes. Doesn't fuss or bellyache. Through the lean time, meantime, the cornbread and bean time, kind of love it takes. One horse hometown, mind shut down, signed up with Uncle Sam. Did one tour in Korea, went to war over in the sand. Day by day was the only way through the worry and heartbreak. It was do or die and she stood right by. That's the kind of love it takes. 'Cause when push come to shove, that's the kind of real love takes to make it through the years. Kind of love to face our fears. Kind of love to dry our tears. Kind of love that knows the stakes. That's the kind of love it takes. Been 38 and some odd years, never heard the word divorce. Make it through. We both knew we would have to stay the course. Share our life as man and wife was a choice had to make. No time for games, no place for blame. That's the kind of love it takes. Thank you. I appreciate that. First song I ever played at this open mic was when I was at Genesis, and it was in memory of my grandfather, from whom I like to think I took my attributes and my manners and my ability to keep my word and do what I said I'd do and just to be a man in this world. So I'm going to take a run at that one. Grandpa asked Grandma to be his wife, and he never cheated or lied. Early one morning, 50 years later, he was holding her hand when she died. Saw the look on his face when he came out that door. Didn't even try to speak. Then they took my grandma out, and I knew without a doubt, death do us part really means. They went through the Depression, served in the war, lived through the hard times and good. Hold his head up high, look you right square in the eye, just so you knew where he stood. On the day my grandma died, I knew down deep inside inside. That's the kind of man that I wanted to be. Have that kind of honesty. Had to work hard every day, keep the promises I made to be the man Grandpa hoped I'd be. When I was a child, I listened real close to the things that my grandpa would say. Everything he told me and the wisdom that he showed me, all of it's still true today. This world can be rough, this world can be tough. Sometimes it's hard to be true. I remember who raised me and the things that Grandpa taught me helps me to know what to do. Grandpa told me, son, you're gonna find out you can do a lot of things in your life. But a man's only as good as the promises he keeps to his family, his country, and his wife. I was in the army when Grandpa passed away, died when I was overseas. Years now he's been gone, but I don't feel alone. He's still with me in my memories. I've seen recession, and I've been to war. I lived through the hard times and good. All those things he taught me and the wisdom that he showed me helped me to know where I stood. I keep my word, I do the right thing, and if I see him again someday, I hold my head up high, look my grandpa in the eye. I hope that I'll hear him say, he was proud to see, live my life with honesty. That I worked hard every day, kept the promises I made. I was the man that he hoped I'd be.
That's Travis. You got your shades on.
Yeah, you need them up here tonight.
Everybody
Yeah,
give it
that's
up for
right.
Mr. Shades himself. Let's hear it for Boo. Woo-hoo.
No cable. Didn't sound right. Must be Daddy's little pumpkin, I can tell by the way you roll. Must be Daddy's little pumpkin, I can tell by the way you roll. It's 11:15 and you're sleeping on that bedroom floor. I can see the fire burning, baby, burning right behind your eyes. I can see the fire burning, baby, burning right behind your eyes. Must have swallowed a candle or some other kind of surprise. Yeah, I'm going downtown, I'm gonna rattle somebody's cage. I'm going downtown, I'm gonna rattle somebody's cage. I'm gonna beat on this guitar and strut all across that stage. Yeah, I'm heading down to Memphis, got a pocket full of cash. I'm heading down Memphis, I got myself a pocket full of cash. And all the Memphis ladies, they'll stick around as long as it lasts. Yeah, she's Daddy's little pumpkin, I can tell by the way she rolls. She's Daddy's little pumpkin, I can tell by the way she rolls. It's 11:15 and she's sleeping on that bedroom floor. If you see my baby coming, don't tell her that her daddy's in jail. If you see my baby coming, don't tell her that her daddy's in jail. She'd sell that little pumpkin just to raise her sweet daddy's bail. That's daddy's little pumpkin, I can tell by the way she rolls. That's daddy's little pumpkin, I can tell by the way she rolls. She's never done a doggone thing to save her soul. That was Daddy's Little Pumpkin. Now I'm going to bring up my partner. We go as Boo and his alibi. Of course, he's a lawyer, so he's the best alibi I can have. You know? So we're just trying to work out this Boo and his alibi thing. His name's Philip. We got the same kind of guitars. It's kind of strange. This song I wrote this song being on the road as a trucker. I got a little lonely, and my only friend was loneliness. I don't do that no more. It's called Hello Lonely. You had to get along with somebody, it was loneliness. Here we go. Hello, lonely. It's just you and me. And we both know that's bad company. Hello, lonely. Hello, lonely. Here we go once again. Miss my wife and my best friend. Hello, lonely. Hello, lonely. Who's that man in the mirror? And how in the hell did he get here? Hello, lonely. Hello, lonely. Another half-empty bed. Talking to myself. All these voices in my head. Hello, lonely. Hello, lonely. What am I to do? I sit around hoping that she's lonely too. Hello, lonely. Hello, lonely. So all alone. Everything I love is in a different time zone. Hello, lonely. Hello, lonely. Can we just get along? The only thing you're good for is a sad, sad song. I said, hello, lonely. I said, hello, lonely. Can't we just get along? The only thing you're good for is a sad, sad song. Thank you.
Oh, hello, lonely.
Hello, lonely.
Hello, lonely. Well, I'm telling you, those are the coolest shades I've seen all night.
Oh, thank you.
Let's hear it for Boo.
Let's hear it for Doug and Barbara.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cowboy. That was so sweet of you. Oh, I got to tune to you real quick. Play me a C major 7. Play me a C major 7. I think we're in tune. Okay, I'm ready. Okay. What are we going to do, Doug?
Well, first I'm going to figure out what key this is. I think we'll try D. This is a request by Priscilla.
Oh, this one goes out to Priscilla. Oh, okay. I'll sit down for this one.
That's true. Every year we do a pig roast at the Knights of Columbus, and I have to sing this song every time, and I learned it from a Jim Croce record. It was, no, that's the wrong key. It was early one more time. It was early last November, as near as I can remember, while walking down the lane in tipsy pride. Not a word did I utter as I lay down in the gutter, and a pig came up and lay there by my side. Not a soul was I disturbing as I lay there by the curbing, and this high-toned lady come and I heard her say, "You can tell a man who boozes by the company he chooses." And the pig got up and slowly walked away. Thank you. That was for Priscilla.
That's back to that George Washington line about keeping good company.
That's
That was one choosy pig.
Yeah.
What a sow. Oh, are we going to do that? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready, Doug.
Since it is a pig roast, we go from pig to fire.
Okay. ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Kevin Brennan.
Woo-hoo. I'm smiling, but I can't tell if you are. It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. No, I'm not one of those who can easily hide. I don't have much money, boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we could live. If I were a sculptor, but then again, no. Or a man selling potions in some traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song. This one's for you. You can tell everybody this is your song. Maybe quite simple, but thumb pick now that it's done. Hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is, you in the world. I sat on the roof and kicked off the moss, and a few other verses, well, they got me quite cross. But the sun's been so kind while I wrote this song. It's for people like you, keep him turned on. You can tell everybody this is your song. Maybe quite simple, but now that it's done, hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is, you in the world. Hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is, you in the world. Thank you. I'm suffering. I use a thumb pick. How many use a thumb pick? Maybe half of you, Travis picking. How many suffer from the malady that the thumb pick, while you're playing, gets loose? And there's nothing you can do about it but stop picking. Don't pick it. Don't pick at it. Yeah, my mother would say. Don't touch it, you'll break it. Remember that? Yeah. So this is an original.
Brennan.
Thank you.
Kevin Brennan, very nice. And now let's have a nice, warm Arizona Live Music Cooperative welcome for Sandy.
So I want to dedicate these two pieces to our friends in Australia, Glenn Gardner, Mark Bishop Evans, George and Georgia, Sweet Tony, and a special thank you for Doug and Lisa. You are awesome. Artificial intelligence. Ever since I knew the meaning of the word artificial, it's been something I avoid. You see, I'm all about realness, true truth, not the fake, politically right truth, real, demonstrable proof of truth. You know, facts. Okay, so every year I get to go have a mammogram. Fun times. We, people with breasts, take off our tops, stand bare-breasted before this behemoth of a machine several times larger than me. We have to present our breast one at a time onto this cold, hard, unrelenting surface. Then the radiology technician pulls, prods, stretches our breast before being mashed between solid, heavy metal like a smash burger, but cold, not hot. We have to stand this way with one arm in an awkward, never-used position. It's to film our breasts to check for cancer. Here's the thing. Now there is a new method of screening for cancer that is supposedly more precise, more accurate with its revelations. The regular mammos are covered by insurance. The so-called new improved AI mammo would cost $40 out of pocket. I've avoided artificial everything my whole life. Do I really want some non-human out there somewhere determination as to whether I have cancer or not? I don't know. AI, artificial intelligence. Should I trust my breast, my life in your hands? Oh, wait, you don't have any hands. Crap! What's a girl to do? Thank you. Vacant. A bit of a rant. I live near a beautiful park, old growth trees, real grass, where soccer and even cricket players play. Baseball and softball practice happens, and lots of new playground equipment installed just last year. A sidewalk that circles the park, perfect for wheelchairs, walkers, scooters, skates, skateboards, and just walking feet. My dog Sally, Sal, and I have made many a friend there. I have, and still do, play with my daughter and 2 grandsons there. Meyer Park in Tempe. Okay, so whenever I drive by my park, I turn my head to just see it. Oh, I almost forgot. On occasion, a lone, unsheltered person will sleep there. But they are lone wolves, and if they have friends, they don't invite them along. So, what I am often seeing is a parent, never the grandparents, or care provider sitting on a bench staring at their phone. The toddler or very young child is either sitting on the bench beside them, doing nothing, Or they're sitting on a swing that isn't being swung. The children look bored. The so-called grown-ups are boring, ignoring the children. It blows my mind. So, me being me, someone who loves children and still enjoys playing with them, I approached this young Latina woman who seemed to be a babysitter with a white toddler boy beside her on the bench. You see, I make waves. I approached her in a friendly way. She looked up from her phone and I began chit-chat about her thermal Stanley cup that is all the rage with Gen Xers. She is friendly and responsive. The very pale, sad-looking toddler is frozen into his almost scowl on his face. He wasn't in trouble. He was being neglected. A whole fun playground before him, yet no one, even though she was right there, to play with him. And here's my subversiveness. I looked at the pitiful child who was maybe just 2 feet tall, and I said, "Are you having fun?" He looked up at me with the saddest little face and slowly shook his head from side to side. I said, "I'm sorry." I had hoped this would give the young woman a hint. I walked away, and when I was maybe a quarter of a block away, I looked back, and nothing had changed. The babysitter probably told the toddler's parents or guardians, "We went to the park today." It was all I could do to not scoop up that little boy, hug him tightly, then run and play with him, push him on the swings, slide down the slide with him, climb the climbing structures, spin on the spinning things, then collapse on the grass in a fit of exhaustion and total joy and laughter. My heart aches for these neglected, yes, I said neglected children. So please, when you are with someone, especially a young someone, be with them. Put the effing screen and earbuds away. Be present. This small human is a gift to the world, a present. So you be present. Thank you.
Beautiful. Amen.
We are
Preach it.
with you there.
Yes. Preach it, sister. Preach it. That's Sandy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for Mark Nowicki.
I'm just going to mess around. Remember these chords when you were a kid? Well, then I kind of wander off with them.
Mark, that was beautiful. Mark Nowicki.
Woohoo!
Please give a warm welcome to Ashley.
Hello. Okay, so the first song I'm going to sing, it's called We Both Had Known, and it's an original. How do you know who's meant to stay? It's been months now and you don't reach out. So how do you know what was a phase? I learned a few lessons and I grew through some messes, but all I feel is this tension in my soul. So where does this go now that we're grown? Have we both lost hope? Don't think it's sad, no reason to feel bad. I think we both had known. Like it's coming, I think everybody's on. And I decide I didn't mind kind of time. But I'm saying amen more than I've ever been. So maybe God is moving for better things. But if that's so, why do I feel all this tension in my soul? Where does this go now that we're grown? Have we both lost hope? Don't think it's sad, no reason to feel bad. I think we both have known. I think we all ought to know. Had to know when to walk away. Not everyone's meant to stay. And how to go your own way when it was just a phase. Yeah, I think we both had known where this was gonna go. Now a little more hope. Don't think it's sad, no reason to feel bad. It's good for us to know. Thank you. Okay, this next song I'm gonna sing, it's called This Kind of Love, and it's an original I wrote as well. Sweet, sweet nothings have been repeated more than once. Over and over I hear you ask how my day was. I know you think I don't do enough, but you may be right as I sit tight. But I'm writing down what's not working out, so I can remind myself when I get this kind of love from someone else. I'll remember to not waste no words.
you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, pouring your heart out in these beautiful originals. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Slibnik. And in a moment, we'll welcome his guitar.
There it is.
There he is. The guitar showed up for the party. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Slibnik again.
She was there, I was there, and now we're no longer together. This late night moon seems to always want to be there for me. And there aren't many others who are. Position will be my eyes toward the sky with more than one star. So baby, let's get together again. Yeah, baby, let's get together again. Left in the house, couldn't bear to be by myself that day. Strapped on my rollerblades and I skated away. Perhaps I skated too far, perhaps I skated too long. Perhaps I skated my way away from you. Now here I am. So baby, let's get together again. Yeah, baby, let's get together again. The feeling of being ripped apart is not a present emotion I feel in my heart. To experience the kind of rip going on more with a womanless shadow. Is where the silence of the word avoid might be heard. Rigatoni has gotten strained, produced by those written brains for chopping wheat grains. And here go more contents to add into my collection yet another night. So baby, let's get together again. Yeah, baby, let's get together again. Thank you. That was called Let's Get Together Again. It was a song I wrote. And this next one I'm going to do, it's called To Share It With You. I guess it's sort of a love sort of song. Sort of a newer song. Say a sunset is beautiful and the flower is lovely. I'd agree, but being with you would be too. The courage is filling my body, the confidence is flowing within me. Life comes so easily tonight. I've developed this feeling. I've developed this feeling within me. share it with you. Feel it's something I should start to do. Share it with you. Share it with you. Thank you.
Slibnik. What wonderful sounds to go home on, and
All
those,
right. Very
those
nice. Very
fancy
nice.
green sneakers. I'm in awe. Well, thank you so much for coming to the Arizona Live Music Cooperative at Enchiladas. God bless you. Good night.
Good night.